Hello, I'm Aidan, and you are the listener, and this is Switching to the Future, a lame short podcast where I discuss Nintendo this, Nintendo that, yada yada yada. Do I really need to go all formal with the title and everything? Do I really need to go all formal with it anymore? Happy Friday, it's the 23rd of May 2025, and Switch 2 is due out in 13 days. Dun dun dun. Yeah, a bit more enthusiasm as I'm not doing this at dead of night this time. I'm doing it at 7:30. Anyway, I won't be doing next week at dead of night either because I've got a lot to talk about with that. But today, let's stick to the present. Despite the fact that we're talking 13 days ahead. So, right, remove that. I forgot to remove that from the document. Alright, so, nothing to get started with this and that is. So, here's the latest. The Nintendo Music got its original soundtrack for Kid Icarus for the Nintendo Entertainment System and Famicom Disk System versions. I haven't listened to it, but it's Kid Icarus. It has some decent music, from what I've heard. Nintendo Classics, well, got 4 games for the Game Boy this week, and I would like to give you a grave warning with the 4th one. Gradius Interstellar. No, Gradius Interstellar Assault. I really need to read stuff before I actually say it out loud. Kirby Star Stacker, puzzle game. Gradius is Gradius. Sword of Hope, some kind of RPG exploration kind of game, but for the Game Boy, so quite low, because I had to take advantage of such a weak console. And Survival Kids, the original game of the original version of the shovelware game that's come to Switch 2 day 1. I'm calling it shovelware. I mean, some are saying it's not. It looks like shovelware, and I know absolutely nobody who's taking it seriously. Also, Nintendo Alamo finally got the Animal Crossing New Horizons theme that was promised back in October. So, yeah. And Super Nintendo World at Universal Epic Universe opened yesterday along with the rest of that theme park. Will it come to Britain? I hope so. Anyway, the Nintendo account sidebar on Nintendo's websites has been updated. Nintendo's announced a... Sorry, that's me dropping my phone. Nintendo's announced a couple of things in regards to Switch 2 this week on Nintendo Today. They haven't been announcing anything seriously major, though. Oh, you can change the screen size of game chat. Here's people's reactions to the console. You can change mouse sensitivity in the settings. Have a look at our carrying case. And the sounds of the console. Yeah, I mean, I haven't shown the most, but yeah, so nothing too major. Next week, an overview of May's compatibility updates for Switch 1 games on Switch 2, because they said one was due in May, and a week today will be like the last reasonable day in May for Nintendo to announce it during May. I am a bit concerned about this one, and next week's going to probably be lengthy because of it. So that's all the main stuff out of the way. Now let's talk about what you've been seeing in the thumbnail and mentioned here, there, everywhere. 13 days until the end. Dun dun dun. Let's talk free upgrades. So I'm going to give my thoughts about the free upgrades now that it's all been properly announced for the Switch 1 games that I've had announced free upgrades. So I'll just quickly... 51 Worldwide Games, or Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. Game Share. They've already shown that off. I trust it. Same can be said for Game Share and pretty much everything else. I trust it. I trust it's going to be good. ARMS. Visuals. Optimised for Nintendo Switch 2 display and high-resolution TVs for improved image quality. The fact they say high-resolution TVs makes me think they've at least given it 1440p. I said 4K last week for convenience, so that's good. Frame rate, optimised for Nintendo Switch 2 for smoother movement, even when playing with 3 or more players. The fact it says even when playing with 3 or more players makes me think that this is going to be upwards to 120 frames per second. Just because it's even, and then 60 when playing with 3 or 4 players. And the fact they mention high-resolution TVs ensures that it's going to be 1440p or better. HDR support, that's self-explanatory. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. HDR support and the same thing for visuals, so I'd expect 1440p or 4K. Game Builder Garage. Pretty much the same thing for visuals. Also supports Joy-Con 2 mouse controls. Bit of an interesting thing with mouse controls. Some Switch 2 games are going to support a USB mouse. The question is everything going to support a USB mouse if it supports mouse controls? As that could be interesting, because a mouse has a scroll wheel. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, same thing with the visuals. I have a bit of a question though. Why are they increasing the visuals for that, but not, say, Mario Maker 2? Or releasing a Switch 2 edition of Mario Maker 2? It just makes sense. I mean, if you can get Mario U Deluxe in 4K, surely you can get Mario Maker 2 in 4K. And then also, like, mouse controls. Why? You know, come on, it would make things easier. I suppose they'd have to redesign a good chunk of the UI, which would want a Switch 2 edition at a minimum, or it would just be better to just make a sequel for Switch 3. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Says it's been optimised for high-resolution TVs. I don't see it going above 1080p. Frame rate. Improved for smoother movement. I honestly do not trust the frame rate improvement. Well, I mean, I trust it. Like, it's definitely going to be better, but, like, I don't think it's going to be anything too fancy. I think it's just going to be solid 60 FPS, and it looks good in 1080p for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Better image quality for TV and console. Better frame rate. HDR support. In Bowser's Fury only, I believe. So, yeah. Well, actually, it doesn't mention that only Bowser's Fury supports HDR for Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury on Nintendo's UK website now. That is very peculiar. I might have to look into that. Alright, being brutally honest, I wasn't able to find answers, but in regards to that, but a bit weird that they've changed that disclaimer. Mario Odyssey. Improved visuals on the TV and Switch 2 display, HDR support, game share. Echoes of Wisdom and Link's Awakening, HDR and better visuals. So it looks like it's going to probably be 1440p minimum for a lot of them. Not certain about Pokemon due to poor optimization. I say Pokemon Legends Z-Way will probably explain it. So that's all my ranting about free updates for selected Nintendo Switch 2 games on Switch 2. Yeah. So, this is near the end. Thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.